Okay, so here we are. Gee, that annoyed me. Oh well. Okay, so another video, and today I have, for those of you that look at my background, I put the panda back there, and that panda was a wedding gift, and the funny story behind it, which isn't very funny, but when we were first married, Chris and I would always like hide it in different places of the house and see how long it would stay hidden before the next person found it. As in, like, Chris and me found it. Anyway, kind of corny, but there it is. Branson likes to play with it, so actually he was playing with it earlier and I just put it on the stool for you to enjoy. Anyway, let's get to the video. So I just read another beautiful blog post on the Voices blog that I wanted to share here. Now, I know I've talked before about the Voices blog, but I'll link all this below. Anyway, but this particular piece that I'm going to talk about was written by John Mentz, who lives over in England at the Beech Grove community. And he used a bit of an unusual format. This piece is written like the script of a play. And I found that kind of neat because I love acting and I love plays. But what I really loved about this piece is the longish quote that he's taken from a book by Kent Nerburn, I hope I said that right, titled The Wolf at Twilight. Now, true confession here, I haven't read the whole book, so I had to look up what it's about. And it's kind of like a memoir that tells about the author's journey back to a Lakota reservation. And I want to share the excerpt that John used in his blog post first, and then I also want to share with you my own thoughts on this quote and what it made me think of from my own childhood. So I'm going to read it. Bear with me because it's quite a long quote. And yeah, just sit back and enjoy it. Oops. Wrong password. Okay. I want to turn the camera off while I do my password. It's so embarrassing. Okay, so here goes. On for the quote. If you see life as a straight line where the young and old are weak and those in the middle are strong, and if you think that to be important you must be useful, you do not see value in the young and the old. You see them as burdens, not as gifts, because they cannot lift their hands to be of use to the community. But the young and the old both have other gifts. The young have enthusiasm and hope. They give us dreams when we get weary and they fill the future with promise. The old have the wisdom of experience. They have traveled far on the road of life, on the journey of life, and give us knowledge about our own road ahead. In our Indian way, we honor these gifts, just like we honor the gifts of all creation. We do not call our old ones senior citizens and put them in buildings away from the rest. For us, they are the elders. They have lived what we are still waiting to learn. We go to them, we listen to them. What do you know, we ask? What has life taught you? They are the keepers of the memories. Their hands have touched the hands of our grandfathers and grandmothers. Their stories are alive with the heartbeat of the past. And we do not look at our children as full-growns waiting to be. We see them as special beings who bring us the freshness of wonder. They keep our hearts soft and our hands gentle. They keep us from thinking only about ourselves. And they give the elders a reason to live, because we entrust the elders with the shaping of their hearts and with setting their feet straight upon the path of life. Do you understand this? He said. How the children are a gift to the elders and how the elders are a gift to the children? How they complete the circle of life like morning and evening complete the circle of day? So the quote was over. I found that quote to be very beautiful. And it made me think of Steve and Edie Johnson, who were an older couple who were very special to me and still are. But before I talk about them, I just want to give a little background or context and explain that here in the Bruderhof, our houses are a bit like apartment complexes with like 2 or 3 families living on the same floor of a house. We share the same kitchen, and although each family has its own space as well, it's not like our living rooms, bedrooms, and families are not shared. We have those to ourselves. But families at the Bruderhof tend to move around often. And so growing up, our family lived next door to many different families, some of whom we got along with, and some, well, maybe not so much, but that's just part of life. Anyways, going back to Steve and Edie, when I was about 8 years old, Steve and Edie moved in next door. They were an older couple whose children had all grown up and left the house, so it was just the two of them. I don't even think they had grandchildren of their own at the time. So my own grandparents lived in another community, or in 2 other communities, so not close by. And so Steve and Edie really became like grandparents to me and my siblings. And I have just so many memories of them. Often in the evenings, I would go to their house and sit on their sofa, and Edie would teach me how to knit. And I just remember that I would sit there and like knit tons of little squares for a blanket. And she also had this fascinating book of how to knit stuffed animals, which I always dreamed of doing, but nothing ever materialized. And she also told me once she knitted a swimsuit. I don't know how that would work, but I thought that was really cool at the time. And she also liked to cook, and or bake, and one of her specialties that she would make for a treat were these pizzellis. I hope I got the Italian accent right, but they're like these Italian waffle cookie things, and we would eat them with ice cream and stuff. Anyway, Steve and Edie were certainly a very big part of my childhood, and even when we moved to a different apartment, like later on, we would often go back to their house to play, and my friendship with Edie lasted until she passed away, which was just before Chris and I were married. Anyway, I could probably do like a whole nother video, like telling all the memories and the wonderful times that we had together. But I'm going to go back to the quote I read earlier. The last part of it really rang true for me as I thought of those great times and my friendships with Steve and Edie. The children are a gift to the elders, and how the elders are a gift to the children. They complete the circle of life like morning and evening complete the circle of day. And that really rings true for me in my friendship with Steve and Edie. And I just love that. And that's also just a beautiful, beautiful thing about community. But I just want to encourage you to read the full article from John Mentz. Don't miss it. And he has some phenomenal things to say. So enjoy, and I'll see you next time.